Kamala Harris are making their final pushes in key battleground states, Pennsylvania and Michigan.
After the battle of Trump and Harris for the 47th U.S. president, the male candidate won. This outcome has reignited a long-standing question: why is it that a female president seems so elusive in the U.S.? The result is a system that still favors male candidates, making it harder for a woman to reach the nation's highest office. While the U.S. prides itself as a leader in democracy, yet it's one of the few developed nations that's never had a female president. Today, we're diving into 10 reasons why America may never elect a woman to its highest office. Number 1. Persistent gender bias. Despite progress in gender equality, a deep-rooted bias against women in leadership still exists in the U.S. Many voters subconsciously or consciously perceive men as more presidential or authoritative, especially in roles traditionally associated with power and command, like the presidency. This bias can affect both male and female voters, leading many to doubt a woman's ability to handle high-stakes decisions or lead in crises. This belief that men are inherently more suited for leadership positions is a significant hurdle for female presidential candidates. Number 2. Traditional expectations. American society has long held traditional views of gender roles, with many still believing that a woman's primary role should be at home or in a supportive capacity, rather than in positions of high power. This traditional mindset, though evolving, still influences how female candidates are perceived. When a woman pursues the presidency, she can be seen as stepping outside of what some believe is appropriate for her gender, leading to judgment and skepticism from certain voter demographics. Number 3. Media scrutiny. Female politicians often endure harsher media scrutiny than their male counterparts. The media is more likely to focus on a woman's appearance, voice, or personal life rather than her policies and qualifications. For example, a female candidate's clothing or hairstyle might be scrutinized in ways male politicians don't experience. This unfair level of scrutiny adds unnecessary challenges to women's campaigns, diverting attention from their platforms and feeding into stereotypes about women in power. Number 4. Lack of support from female voters. Surprisingly, gender doesn't guarantee support among female voters. In fact, some studies suggest that female voters are not always quick to back female candidates, and some may even hold biases against women in leadership. This could be due to internalized stereotypes or concerns that a female candidate will face insurmountable challenges. Without strong support from women voters, female candidates struggle even more to gain the traction they need to win. Number 5. Historical precedents and cultural mindsets. The U.S. has exclusively had male presidents since its founding, creating a cultural precedent and comfort with male leadership at the national level. For many voters, the idea of a female president represents a departure from the familiar, leading them to unconsciously favor male candidates. This cultural comfort with male presidents reinforces the status quo and makes it more difficult for women to be seen as viable, credible candidates. Number 6. The electability myth. A common myth is that female candidates are less electable than their male counterparts, largely due to concerns about gender biases in the general population. Political parties often worry that a female candidate might struggle to win against a male opponent, which can lead to hesitation in providing her with full support. This electability myth often discourages parties from nominating women for the highest office, stunting their chances before they can even begin.
We have no leadership, and honestly, that starts with Secretary Clinton.
Number 7. Double standards in leadership style. When women display qualities like assertiveness or confidence, they're often labeled as aggressive or unfeminine. In contrast, men exhibiting the same traits are typically praised as strong leaders. This double standard leads to a constant balancing act for female candidates, as they're often judged more harshly for behaviors that are deemed acceptable or even admirable in male leaders. This bias can damage their public image, making it harder for them to gain widespread support. Number 8. Party gatekeeping and old boys networks. The political landscape in the U.S. remains largely male-dominated. Established networks, often referred to as old boys clubs, within political parties tend to favor male candidates for leadership roles, thus limiting opportunities for women. These networks wield significant influence over who gets party endorsements, funding, and support. Without access to these inner circles, female candidates often face greater challenges in gaining momentum and establishing credibility within their own parties.
I know because I won both of them.
Number 9. Fear of change and unconscious bias. For some voters, electing a female president represents a massive cultural shift, and this prospect can be unsettling. Unconscious biases, often formed from years of seeing men in positions of power, can make it difficult for voters to view a woman as presidential material. These biases don't always manifest in openly negative views, but can subtly influence voter preferences, making them more likely to choose a male candidate even if they consciously believe in gender equality. Number 10. Reluctance to break long-standing tradition. Since the U.S. has exclusively elected male presidents, this tradition has become a deeply ingrained part of the country's identity. For some Americans, the idea of a female president feels like breaking with tradition, even if they wouldn't openly say so. This preference for the familiar can lead many to unconsciously prefer male candidates, sticking to the precedent rather than embracing change. Despite progress in gender equality and the growing presence of women in politics, certain deeply ingrained societal and structural factors continue to stand in the way. These challenges highlight a complicated relationship between American values and the reality of electing leaders, suggesting that the U.S. may need to address underlying biases and cultural shifts before a woman can successfully break the highest glass ceiling. So, will America ever elect a female president? What do you think? Are we ready to see a woman in the Oval Office in the next presidential race? Or will these obstacles remain? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into political controversies. Until next time, this is Innovatronics TV. See you in the next video.